guys, my name is Kristi and I'm the blogger and crafter over at svgnation.com, and I'm super excited to be here today for Bette's Holiday Craft Fair. And today I'm going to be sharing with you guys how you can make one of these snow globe Christmas cards. They're really cute. The snow kind of jiggles inside of it. And there's two different variations that you can make. So there's one where you can open it up like a card, and I'll show you how to use Cricut pens to write your own message. Plus I'm going to be showing you guys how to use the print then cut feature for your photo inside. So there's a lot of helpful hints inside today's tutorial. But you can also just make a standard one that you just flip like this. And you can also write a message on the back of this as well if you want. So both of those files are included for these. And to get started, there is going to be a file that you need to download, and all that's going to be included with all the presentation links and everything. So make sure that you go ahead and grab that, and then I'm going to show you guys how to make these. So once you have that image uploaded to Cricut Design Space, go ahead and add that to your canvas. And once you bring that into your canvas, the first thing that you need to do is ungroup those layers. So just click right here to ungroup those. Right. And now depending on which one you're doing, if you're just doing like the single page one, then you're going to use this base. But if you want it to fold in half, then you're going to use this base. You're not going to need both, so make sure that you delete one of those. And I'm going to go ahead and do the one that folds in half just because it has an extra step that I want to show you. But they're both assembled exactly the same. So we're going to go ahead and delete this one. I'm just going to click on it and click on delete. And then if you want to use any of these phrases, go ahead and decide which one you're using and then delete the other ones. So I'm going to go ahead and delete this one, and I'll delete this one as well, and I'll use Merry Christmas for this. And you can of course add your own phrases. So all of this is this is going to be a pen text, and then it has two offsets on it if you want to add your own here. But you do need to actually change the operation for this for pen. So we're going to click right here. And all three of these, they're grouped together with each little section of it. So you do need to ungroup it. And then click on that text right here. And it's going to be the same for Let It Snow and Happy Holidays as well. And you're just going to change that operation to pen. And then make sure to select this white layer with it. So you've got both your text and this white layer selected together. And you can select multiple layers together by holding down Shift as you select them and attach those together. That way your Cricut's going to know where to write and where to cut so that that turns out correct. And now for your snow globe, you do need to change this to a score line. If you do not have a scoring tool, just delete that. You can easily fold this in half. But if you want to use a scoring tool, that's going to give you that perfect middle fold. Then go ahead and change that to a score line. Click on this group right here so you can attach that score line to the card. And now the next thing that we want to do is bring in our photo, because we are using the print then cut feature for this. And if you already have a photo printed that you want to use, then what you can do is you can just use this green one after you print this out. You can kind of use this to draw around it and then cut the photo where you need to cut it for this. You're not going to see the edges of the photo, so it's okay if they're not perfect. But I do want to show you how you can do this with your Cricut as well. So let's go ahead and click on Upload. You're going to click on Upload Image and then Browse. And this brings up your File Explorer where you're going to select where your image is saved. For some reason, my recording thing doesn't film the little File Explorer, but it did bring that up. So all I did is select that, and it brought my image in here. Then you're going to click on Complex and Continue. If you need to make any modifications, go ahead and do that here. I'm going to keep mine just the way it is, so I'm going to hit Apply and Continue. And then we are doing the print and cut image, and you can add tags right here, and that's going to make your image easy to search for if you ever want to try to find this in all of your uploads. And then we'll click on Upload. And this can take a minute, especially if you have a larger size photo, so just be patient. All right, so once that's uploaded, go ahead and click on that and add it to your canvas. Okay, now that we have this in our canvas, I'm just going to resize it a little bit. I'm going to move some of these pieces out of the way. So this is another optional piece. It just depends on, you can either use this for the very top part, or if you want this bottom part to be a different color than the globe part, then you'll use this. But if you're trying to reserve paper, then you can totally get rid of that one as well. So I'm just going to move all of these aside. And this one right here, this is your clear plastic, so you definitely need that. And then this is your foam layer. So I am going to show you a way that you can do this without foam. So if you're doing the way without foam, then you can delete this layer as well. But let's take this green layer and we're just going to drag this to the very, very top above that picture. There we go. Because we're going to use this as a guide. And you can always zoom in to see a little bit better if you want to with these little zoom features down here. So all I'm going to do is kind of resize this and place it where I want it. And you want to make sure that it stays within this circle, so you don't want it cut off like that, because however it looks in this circle is how it's going to look in your design. And it's okay if it doesn't go all the way up to this top. You just want to see how it's going to look inside the globe. And make sure you use those corner resizers if you want to keep your proportions the same. If you do like up and down or sideways, it's not going to lock in those proportions. So it'll be a little bit distorted. Okay, so I think that looks pretty good. Maybe I'll just bring it to the side a little bit. Okay, and once you have that where you like it, go ahead and grab this black circle and you're going to bring that to the top as well. So you can drag that how I did before, or you can just right click on it and do bring to front, which can be a little easier. And you're going to put this exactly, it's going to line up with just the tiniest little outline around it. If you see how that just has a tiny little green outline. So go ahead and place that there. Move the green aside, but make sure you keep that picture in place. And then you can select both the picture and this black circle together and slice. Now, if you're not bringing the picture in, then obviously you won't need this black circle because we are just deleting it. So you can delete that, and we've deleted everything except for this photo right here. And your photo may look a little different. It may be a full circle if if it went all the way to the top of this, but it doesn't matter. It's going to work as long as it fit within this circle. The photo is going to work. So we have everything ready to go. Now you may want to add a message inside your card, which is totally optional, but I want to show you guys how you can do that in case you want to write in the card. All right, so I'm just going to grab my text right here and we're going to write something in here. We'll say something like, hope your holidays will do great. And so something like this. This is a little long. I'm just going to modify it a little bit for the spacing. Okay, so that's good. And now we need to change this to pen because we are using our Cricut pen to write on this. Of course, you can write on it by hand too if you want, but I do want to show you how you can do it with Cricut pens. So we're going to go to our font, and if you go to this filter right here, I've already got these filtered, but I've got writing in here. And then also, if you don't have Cricut Access and you want a free writing font, then check free. That way only the free ones come up. And then you can kind of search through this and find like a writing font that you really like. And then once you find something that you want to use, you can just click on that. So I'm going to go with this one, and I'm just going to kind of resize it. Let me drag this down so it's away from the other elements. I'm just going to kind of place that where it looks good. And then I also want to add, or we'll say like from. Then you could put your names or like your family. We'll do our family right here. And this is a little large, so I'm going to shrink this. And you can also type in the font size right here. So maybe we want this like a 24 font size right there. I'm not sure that I love this font for the name. It looks like it's pretty jumbled when it gets smaller, so I'm going to change it. Let's try that one. Oh, that's what I'm using. Oops. All right, that one looks a little bit better. It's a little easier to read. But since this is larger, it looks cute for this one. So I'm just going to place this down here. Might even make it just a little bit smaller. Here we go. And now if you want to use more than one color, I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do that. So all of this is grouped together, so I'm just going to ungroup this. I'm actually going to zoom in to make it a little easier to see for you guys. All right, so that just ungrouped. And I want to make bright and joyful different colors. So I do need to click on, let me find those words. Yeah, click here. All right, so I'm just going to click on the word bright. I do have to hold down shift while I select all of these. And I'm going to change the color right here. I really wish I had like a red and a green, but I don't. But I do have like a gold and a silver. So that's what I'm going to use. Use gold for one and silver for the other. But I really, right now, really just want to show you kind of how to write with multiple colors. So we're just going to go back and change the color next to this pen, select the pen that we're using. And if you want to use multiple pens, it's very important that you do change the colors to the colors that you want, because that's kind of how you're telling your Cricut to do this. So my markers are a little bit thick. So I'm going to space these out so that it's not writing on top of each other so much. So I'm just kind of playing around with kind of just the formatting a little bit, and I'm going to do the same over here. Just kind of formatting it a little. And it could help to either click them here or in the layers, whatever is easiest for you. Let's try to get this J. All right, for some reason it doesn't want to click on my J, so I'm going to click on it here. Okay, so once you have this all formatted and it's how you want it to look, I'm going to scroll out. You're going to select all of this. And you want all of your text, your score line, and your card layers selected because you need to attach all of those together. And that is how your Cricut's going to know where it needs to score and where it needs to write and where it needs to cut and all of the relations. Okay, so everything here is good. So we can go ahead and connect our Cricut, and we're going to click on Make It. And we are just using our standard mat for this. One thing to point out is throughout this process, we are using a lot of different materials. So obviously right here, we're using our pen. And right here, again, oh, really quickly, I do want this white to cut the same color as this one. So let me show you how you can do that. Now, if you're not using the same sheet of paper on that white down there, then it doesn't matter. But I want both those to cut on the same. So I'm just going to click this in that color sync and drag that. That just removes one less cut process that I need to do. Okay. So this is going to be our print and cut. We're going to need to use our pen, our scoring tool. This right here, I'm actually using a glitter cardstock for it. And then this one's going to be our plastic, and this one's going to be our foam. So we are switching materials and we are switching tools and stuff. So it's going to be really important that with each step, you really stop and think about what cut setting you need this on and what tool you need to put in. That way you don't mess anything up. And I'm going to walk you through all of that. So we're going to start right here with our print and cut. And so we're just going to continue. And we're going to send this to the printer. So once that prints out, then place this on your mat with the photo facing up, and then you're going to load that into your Cricut, and then press the flashing Cricut button to begin cutting. And whenever you use the print and cut feature, your Cricut is first going to scan the document, and then it's going to cut it. So if you're having any issues, then make sure that you are in a well-lit area when using the print and cut feature, because this does help. And I am using a vinyl sticker paper for this, so that is the setting that I'm going to use to cut. But you can also use regular paper or cardstock if you don't have sticker paper on hand. This is just going to make it easier. I don't have to glue it. I can just stick it down. If you're using the card with a fold, then add your scoring stylus or scoring wheel if you're using that for the next mat. You really don't need the scoring stylus. It's a super easy fold, but if you want to use it. And then once this is done scoring, Cricut Design Space is going to prompt you to add your pen if you're writing on your card. If not, then it's just going to go ahead and cut this out. And Design Space is going to let you know which color to add, so that's why it's really important to assign the colors if you are using multiple colors. So when you get those prompts in Cricut Design Space, you're just swapping out your pen and then pressing the flashing arrow to resume the process. And you're not going to remove your mat until your Cricut has finished with all the writing and then the cutting. And then you're going to continue to cut the snow globe frame out. And then you're going to cut the clear plastic. So with the plastic, it is best to use a deep point blade for this, but you can use a fine point if you don't have a deep point. It just is probably is not going to cut all the way through for this, so you may have to pop it out a little bit when it's done, kind of like when you pop out something for like the little perforated lines. But since these edges are hidden, it's going to be fine if it doesn't have a clean cutout because you're not going to see it. But I do recommend the deep point blade if you have this. And I'm also using the plastic transparency cut setting, and I'm adding more for the pressure for this. And I am using a deep point blade, and this cuts the plastic perfectly. And then when cutting foam, you want to slide those roller pieces to the side because they will indent the foam. And then those same concepts apply for the foam as with that clear plastic. It's best to use that deep point blade, but you can use a fine point blade and then peel it out kind of how you had to do with the plastic. And this is another layer that is hidden, so it's okay if those edges aren't perfect. But I am using the craft foam setting, and I am adding more pressure to this, and I am using a deep point blade, and everything cut out perfectly. And then you can add your fine point blade back into your Cricut if you did swap those out to finish cutting the rest of your designs. So once everything is cut out, first fold your card in half if you're using this version, and then you're adding your photo to the front of the card. If yours doesn't have the sticky back like mine, then just glue this on. And then you're going to glue your foam layer on top. And you can make this without using foam. Instead, you will piece foam tape around the edges. And you want to make sure when you do this that there are no spaces or gaps in between those foam pieces because you don't want that glitter to escape. So you're just placing these all the way around the entire side. And then you're also going to place a few strips just in that middle bottom part so it doesn't sink in there. You want it to kind of have that same height. So this method is pretty tedious and it takes a little longer, so I highly recommend using the foam, but I just wanted to point out that this is an option as well in case that works better for you. And then you're going to set this part aside to dry, and then grab the snow globe outline and your plastic circle, and glue the plastic circle to the inside of your globe outline, and then glue the bottom piece to that front. And if you are using one of the sayings, then go ahead and glue the pieces together and attach this to the front as well. I like to use foam dots for this just to add a little more dimension, but you can also glue it down. And then set this aside and grab the other part of your cardigan, and you're going to fill that middle with glitter. So I like to use a white chunky glitter and then add in a few larger snowflake sequins. And I did find these snowflake sequins at Hobby Lobby if you want to find these, and they look really nice with this card, so I do recommend using them if you can find them. And then you're going to glue the top layer on and then just let this sit until it dries. So you do have to resist the urge to shake it because if there's any wet glue that seeps through, that glitter is going to stick to it. So just let that dry and then you can shake it all you want. If you did keep the dimensions of the card just as I have them, then this is going to fit perfectly in a 5x7 envelope. And I do have a template on my blog for this for free along with the tutorial. So if you want to make your own custom 5x7 envelope with a liner, you'll be able to coordinate the card with that liner, and you're going to find this in my paper craft section on my blog at svgnation.com. Well, I hope that you guys enjoyed making these little snow globe Christmas cards, and I'd love to hear how they go for you guys, so feel free to leave a comment or reach out to me to let me know how these go. And also, if you have any questions on how to make them, you can find me on social media or you can email me, and I'd be happy to help you guys out. And also, don't forget to grab that free envelope template if you want to make like a coordinating envelope for it. And before I go, I am going to tell you guys a little bit about my blog. So on my blog, you're going to find tons of free SVG files. It's pretty much what I specialize in and what I do. I've got different vinyl ones. So if you guys like this coordinating shirt that we're wearing in this picture, I do have the files for those. So we made these for our holiday pictures the other year, and they were super cute. They all say kind of like a different trait, like social elf or creative elf, and you can actually take this layer and remove it and add your own adjective if you don't like what's already in there. So they're very easy to customize. And I also have tons and tons of fun paper crafts. One of my favorite is this advent calendar, and I'm telling you guys about this now because it takes a little bit of work, so you're going to want to get started on this right away. But you can make it a 12-day one just by doing half of it, and I've included a 12-day file, or you can make the full 24 days. And this is so fun. You just open these and you can put whatever you want inside of these, so you can really customize it for each person. The kids absolutely loved this last year, and I know they're excited for me to do it again this year. And that's what's great about this is it is reusable. So this will be our second year reusing these. And you know, you're gonna find some fun layered crafts like wreaths. Got lots of different candy holder designs, boxes, you know, fun little things for Halloween, Christmas. You're gonna find stuff for Thanksgiving and stuff not for the holidays too. I definitely love holiday crafting. So if you love holiday crafting, you're gonna find a lot of ideas. But I hope that you guys will join me over there. And thank you guys for joining us here today. And I do hope to hear from you guys. Bye.